So I was wrong. Erica wasn't in on it. Hello, planet Earth. Welcome to my YouTube channel. We're at IDK, my BFF Jill 730. I'm Preston L. Young, wishing you warm salutations and congratulations. As always, you've made your way to the Buffy-ngton post. Today I will be taking a break from Buffy, and it's time to review The Leftovers season finale for season 2. It's season 2, episode 10, I Live Here Now. And what a finale, you guys. So much happened, so much came together. There were reveals. Matt's not crazy. I knew it, Matt's not crazy. Mary came. Oh my god, Mary's awake. That was great. There was so much that happened in this episode, and there were so many moments that really just got me. And what I really loved about this episode was the humor of it. When Kevin dies again, and he is in the hotel, like the first time, it was scary. But then when we were in the hotel again, it's like, oh, this is fine. We know how to get out of here. So I really enjoyed just the moments of lightheartedness that we got in this episode. But without further ado, let's jump into it. It's the Buffy-ngton Post review for The Leftovers, Season 2, Episode 10, not the series finale. I Live Here Now.
We have to try, we'll pay the price. It's do or die. Hey, I've died twice. What can we face if we're together? What's in this place that we can weather? There's nothing we can face.
So usually when I watch Leftovers, I take notes because I plan to review it, but I usually end up just writing the entire teleplay, and that's no fun. So I'm coming to you note-free. I'm going to talk to you about what I remember and what really struck me, and just the whole damn thing. I want to start off by talking about what I didn't like, because there's so much that I really enjoyed from this episode that I want to go ahead and get the ishy stuff out of the way. So everything really did get wrapped up very neatly, and part of me is really happy for that in case we don't get a season 3. I loved the moment where he comes home and everyone is there. I was like, oh, Jill's there, and then we're going to pan over and everybody's going to be there. Matt and Mary and everybody. And there they were, which is fine, because I talked about it in one of my earlier episode reviews for this season that The Leftovers is about family. At the end of the day, it's about life going on and there being hope. And the hope doesn't come from some outside thing. It comes from the people that you surround yourself with. And I really love that about The Leftovers. It has a very strong foothold in family dynamics and family issues and how we relate to one another, not just familially, but spiritually and through love. So I really appreciated that, but at the same time, it feels so final. It feels concrete. It feels like we could just stay in this room forever and we would never need to see anything else. And we don't need to see anything else. We've had 20 episodes of amazing television, you guys, and this episode was no exception. Another thing that I had a little bit of an issue with was, of course, the Airstream was empty. They're the guilty remnant. If you thought that there were bombs in that camper, you're foolish. You're just foolish. The guilty remnant, they don't want to blow things up. The whole Meg and her plastic explosives from the last episode, it's all a smokescreen. It's just to make you think that they are more nefarious. But where they're really, really, crazy in the head is this idea of the grenades that don't go off any minute now, any day now. This van had to be empty. The camper having bombs in it wouldn't mean anything. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised that the guilty remnant would actually cross the bridge and go in. I figured the whole point was there's no point in going in. It's not any different over there. And yes, when they come in and they take it over, they're saying this place is no different from anywhere else, but it's almost like, what's the point? You know what I mean? So when we have them all in the visitor center, it's a really nice moment, but at the same time, it doesn't seem true to the GR, if you catch my meaning. It almost seems like they should have blown up the bridge and not let anybody in, because it's not worth going in there, right? But aside from that, everything else in this episode was just top notch. I love that Jill and Laurie had this really friction all through the episode where we saw them anyway. I was thinking, damn, she's meaner to Kevin than she is to Laurie. And, I was talking about how she was being a dick to Kevin, but then I thought, hey, at least she talks to Kevin. So I like that we had Laurie and Jill, and they weren't just going to be like besties just because Kevin's in trouble, right? So really enjoyed that. I love Amy Burnham, and I love getting to see her speak, like talk more next season, right? And so I love the moments with Jill and Laurie. I love the episode overall, really. Another thing that really, really hits is Michael in the church and the way that he talks about how he and Evie had lied to Erica all this time because she was just so stricken with this grief. And when Kevin tells him about Evangeline having run away, it makes so much sense to Michael. He understands that she had been broken for a while, and maybe that goes to why he didn't go looking for her. Whether or not he knew that she hadn't departed, it really doesn't matter, because in a way, it's like Michael knows that none of this really matters to Evie. But I did like that he got up in front of the whole church, this thing that he feels really a part of, and he says, we're not okay here. Like, the departure may not have happened, but it's just like Meg said in the last episode. She was being sarcastic when she said that they weren't suffering like the rest of us, but he says, we are. We're not an exception to the rule. We may have been spared this one thing, but we aren't spared. And I really, really enjoyed that. It's what this whole season has been about trying to find a safe place. And on the one hand, no place is safe, but on the other, every place is as safe as it's going to be. You have to decide what matters to you, what's important. What are the cons? What are the pros? At the end of the day, life has these. There's no escaping the guilty remnant, but there's also no escaping your family and the comfort and the hope and joy that they provide for you just because they love you. And it's very lost in that way when Kevin comes in at the end and everyone that he loves and cares about is there with him. It makes so much sense. It's very lost at the end where they all kind of come together, because at the end, that's what matters. It's not about the guilty remnant, and it's not about the great departure. It's not about the mystery. Let the mystery be. Just come home and let all of those things happen outside of your home, because that's what's important to Kevin. And this episode had so many moments. The moment between Erica and Evie on the bridge, the moment with Mary and Matt when he sees her and he sees that he's not crazy. There were so many moments that had me on the point, on the verge of tears. But when John shoots Kevin and... Okay, so when John shoots Kevin, I thought, of course, I tweeted it out. You can go and check the tweets. I said, Kevin can't die just like David Burton can't die. We heard on the radio that there's some nut job in Australia who says he went to the other side and now he can't die. And I knew it! So again, when we got into the hotel, it was a lot of fun. It wasn't as scary because we knew how to come back. So yeah, it was fun. We knew that it was going to be okay. Kevin could come back, but how? And I love that he got into the locker. In my in International Assassin review, I was saying he changed his name to Harvey because Kevin's just not good at not being himself. And so for him to pull out his uniform that clearly says Garvey, it's like he's understanding this. He needs to be himself. He needs to really just go for it and go through this and see what the what is. So when he gets up and sings karaoke, it was very Angel. There's this place in Angel called Caritas, and it's run by this empath demon. And what you do is you get up and sing karaoke, and what you do is you bare your soul when you sing. And so when Kevin began to sing, he was just kind of going through the motions, just like season 1 Kevin, and to some extent season 2 Kevin. He's just singing because what else are you going to do? Just sing. But when he realizes the words that he's singing, when he comes to grip with the fact that he does want to go home, that home is what's important. He does live here now. He realizes that his family, everything is waiting for him. He needs to get back there. And I cried. I was like, I get it, The Leftovers. I get it, Damon Lindelof. I get it, Justin Theroux. I get it, Kevin. Let's go home. Like, that's the most important thing, and I'm getting like weepy just thinking about it right now, so let's stop talking about that. I do love that we went back to the dog quarantine. I knew that that dog was going to come out by the end of the season. We just needed to wait. We needed to wait for the dog, and I knew that it hadn't been 6 weeks yet this whole time, and as far as like how long had the girls been missing, because they didn't get the dog back. And so to go back to the quarantine and then have the dog at the end kind of realize that, oh, this place is fucked up. It was great. I love that. And John, I like that he acknowledges the fact that he doesn't understand what's going on. He gets to really speak for the audience for the first time all season. All season long, we've seen John kind of being, is he our nemesis? Isn't he our nemesis? Is he just this man who's just been as fucked up by the departure as everybody else? And here, for him and Kevin to have this moment together where he just says, yeah, palms in the air, I don't get it. It's nice. I like that nobody on The Leftovers feels sure with their answers. Back to Mary, I love that Nora is the one to see this miracle of Mary waking up, and it answers a lot of questions for her. I don't know that she feels any safer now, but she has this renewed sense of hope. Like, maybe Kevin's not crazy. Maybe my brother's not crazy. Maybe I can actually be happy. Look at Mary. She can wake up here. Maybe it wasn't a complete mistake in coming here. And for her to have her baby, or not her baby, right, taken from her on the bridge when she's running after the baby, it's like, I'll be damned if another thing, anything, is going to take my children again, because this is a woman who lost everything and she wanted a new start, or at least she thought she did. And by the end, she realizes that she really does want this. She needs something, and it's not just the need, it's her want. She wants this new life with Kevin, and she'll be damned if somebody's going to take her baby again. And I loved that moment where she's running on the bridge. And fuck, they just left the baby there. Oh, and the bolt cutters came back. I told you the bolt cutters were important. They came back. The GR had them. And, okay, so I'm sitting on the couch, and when all the people in, like, the carny people in the camp started taking their clothes off, all of their underwear was white, right? And I was like, they're all guilty remnant. I kept saying it over and over. I was like, hey, they're all guilty remnant. Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. So very little Meg in this episode, which, it's fine because she hasn't been in the whole season. We just kind of, threw her in and made her our big bad of the season in the last episode, which, shock and awe, amazing. I love that it was Meg who kind of brings all of our characters together to this moment, this kind of catalyst for their family to come back together. So to have her here not doing a whole hell of a lot, it's fine, because it's not about Meg. It's about our other characters. It's about the Garvey family. And this episode is the Garveys at their best. I am so impressed with the Garveys and the Dursts and the Jamesons and our whole little family that we've made in the past 2 years watching The Leftovers. And people were right. They were right about Tower Man being up in the tower because all of the hell was going to be breaking loose. So I did like that as well. If you guessed that the Tower Man built his tower to avoid the chaos, you were right. I like that Tom kind of immediately knew who Nora was, even though they had never really met, just because of Lily and the baby. That made a lot of sense, and it was kind of like, oh, when it kind of turned around and revealed Tom, I was like, oh shit! So that was great, and I like that Tom is the one to come along and rescue Nora and the baby. And if we do get a season 3, I really want to know how they're going to deal with the whole baby thing. And I would really like for Christine to come back. I said it, I don't know, in my last review, that the Tom and Holy Wayne and Christine episodes from season 1 were not my favorite. There's something about Tom that I just don't really like. I don't know if it's the actor, I don't know if it's the character, I don't know what, but I was done. I was glad to see Christine go, but now that Tom is back and all this good stuff and the baby, I would like to see what the fuck happened to Christine. Anybody else with me there? I mean, I could be happy with never seeing her again, honestly, but hey, I'm curious now. Regina King knocks it out of the park every time. Her motherly instinct to just go and grab and shake her child, trying to kind of bring her back to her senses, and I love the way Evie feels almost ashamed of herself at one point. She doesn't want to make eye contact with her mother, and that might be, don't make eye contact or whatever, but you really see that she does love her mother. And when Kevin says maybe she doesn't love you to John, it hits John really hard. But with Erica, we see that Evie's not entirely happy with her decision. She's doing it with conviction, and I feel like at the end of the day, she really does believe in what she's doing, because she, like John, is seeing all of these people who are just kind of accepting things at face value and chalking things up and giving them more credit than they're really worth. But she takes it to this level, and I think putting it into perspective, having her mother be there on the bridge, it meant something more. It meant something that this character was not expecting. And I loved that we got to see how they went about faking their departure, and knew it was coming, right? With Kevin and the cinder block, knew it was coming, but it was so creepy when it happened. As for the earthquakes, if there's not something supernatural creating these earthquakes, fuck me. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, but this finale felt so completely final that it really frightens me. And HBO, I know you're not listening, but hey, you're listening. You can contact HBO. Renew The Leftovers for season 3. We need to be still here with The Leftovers, right? Like, we're still here. I love this show, you guys. I'm so sad to think that it might be over, but again, we have had 20 hours of amazing television, and I've really enjoyed this season. I think I've enjoyed this season even more than season 1, just because it felt more, again, homey. It felt like the family dynamics were really the most important thing to solve this season, and they just did a bang-up job. I'm so excited to have experienced this, and I'm really sad that I'm not going to have to talk about it every week. So that's all I've got for today, you guys. Please, please, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, question. Let me know what you thought of this episode down in the comment section below. I'd be so happy to hear what you have to say. I'm Preston L. Young. You can come right back here to the Buffy-ngton Post anytime. I've got Buffy the Vampire Slayer reviews, Angel and Faith reviews, Buffyverse discussions on the other Slayers. When Game of Thrones comes back, you can expect reviews for that as well. So have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Homeward bound, I wish I was homeward bound. Home, where my thoughts escaping, home, where my music's playing, home, where my love lies waiting silently.